negative emotions can impair judgment and decision-making. Why do we have these emotions? And we study that in humans and can get a lot of information, but we're still missing that evolutionary component. My name is Mackenzie Smith. I'm a fourth-year graduate student here at Georgia State in the Cognitive Science Department, and I do research primarily with non-human primates, also a little bit with children, and I study behavior and the influences on behavior, be that social or affective. Affect is sort of thought of as the visceral feeling of emotion without any cognitive components added in. So depending on how you define emotion, some people would think of affect as being emotion. I've been working with my advisor, Sarah, on social decision-making and the influences on behavior in these settings. And so that's how I got interested in affect and how that might also be influencing both social and non-social behavior in the primates. So I'm interested in studying how we can find ways to better study emotion so that it can sort of translate widely across different studies. So the first study that I've looked at is how an artificial change in affect that I attempted to manipulate, how that affects subsequent unrelated cognitive behavior. So the apparatus was used to induce the two different either positive or negative affect, and then the computer task was used to measure their cognitive abilities afterwards. What I did is I would attach this to the outside of the cage, and I'd put a piece of food in the top. And the monkeys had to lift each little lever up, and the food would roll down. And so for the positive, inducing positive affect, the combination of a highly valued food reward in conjunction with sort of an easy manipulative task, which has been shown to be sort of cognitively enriching for them, would presumably induce positive affect. And then for the negative affect, I would either twist this to jam the lever so that they could move the food reward down, but then they couldn't get the last lever open, or I had a container that caught the food that they picked it out of at the end, and I had a trap door in that the food would drop down, so they could get the food all the way down, but then it would fall, which presumably would induce some sort of frustration. And then they immediately went on the computer and would work on a delayed match to sample task. And so after being frustrated by the tube, and it didn't matter if it was the trapdoor or the lever, they had a significant decrease in performance on the delayed match to sample from the baseline and from the positive condition. There was not an enhancing effect of positive, but we're not sure if we were in fact able to induce positive affect. They didn't like when I took the apparatus away from them, so that might have induced negative affect because they actually really liked the tube for the most part. And we also don't have any measures for positive affect, which was another aspect of the study, is that we were hoping to find behavioral measures of positive affect, because that's partly why it hasn't been studied in primates, is because we don't have any way of knowing when they are experiencing positive affect. If we find that the cognitive mechanisms that are experienced in animals when they're experiencing emotional states are similar to that as in humans, we can study them with a lot better control than we can humans, and can manipulate and control positive and negative affect and experiences and how that manifests in a non-human animal.